Hi, I'm Laura Rolfe, host of Powered by Franchising, and I am thrilled to invite a very special guest on the show today. Charlie Janes is a certified executive coach with Focal Point Coaching. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Laura, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And to be considered very special.
Well, you have provided so much value, not only to me as a certified franchise consultant and providing some coaching and direction in obtaining my advanced certification, but also in the business world in helping support business leaders build and grow powerful teams and be successful in their coaching and mentoring. So let's start at the beginning. How did you become a focal point coach?
I spent 30 years in Silicon Valley growing tech businesses, and it was fun, lots of exits. But over time, I wanted to be my own person. And a franchise consultant found me and realized that I was a little bit burned out and kind of gave me some options, but it became apparent that I'd been spending my whole life coaching both customers and employees. So that consultant pointed me to Focal Point Franchising, which is, in my opinion, the premier coaching company in terms of the investment they make in developing their coaches and supporting their coaches over time. So that's how I became a coach.
Well, excellent. So you're no stranger to the business world. You were in Silicon Valley for a long time, and now you're a successful business owner and help other business owners with coaching. What do you think it takes to be a successful business owner, Charlie?
Well, I think that it takes a lot of passion. You know, uh, uh, there's a joy that comes from being part of a business that thrives, and it's very different whether it's a big business or let's say it's a franchise when it's just about making a living. But when you find yourself delivering a unique product to customers or creating a unique culture that changes the lives of your employees, it's just simply a blast. And I think that's what's needed is joy.
Yes, I agree. I like to say I like to have fun. I work hard and play in business, and that makes it so much more joyous. And then surrounding myself with people like yourself who also have fun and have a passion for business ownership. So you recently presented me with a new program, a relatively new program, at least to me, that you have been offering to your clients called the Positive Intelligence Foundation. Can you talk a little bit more about what positive intelligence is and how that became a cornerstone of your business?
Oh, great question. So positive intelligence is exactly what it sounds like. It's a system, a coaching system for helping people of all types. They can be business owners in my case, or executives, but they can also be kids, parents, people with addiction issues. All of us need a foundation of better mental health. And, I used to think that mental health was this kind of soft, touchy-feely kind of thing. But in my career in Silicon Valley, I was lucky enough to grow three businesses from 0 to 100 million, at least my part of the business. And I did a bunch of startups. And over time, with all of that success, my performance actually degraded. My mental health, quite frankly, degraded in a sense that, sometimes a business that exits, before you find your next thing as an executive, you might be away from work, all the fun, the excitement of chasing things, and you have all the uncertainty of not knowing what you're going to do next. So for all of us in business, that was my corporate experience, but business owners find issues with just being lonely, always being faced with lots of information that they have to sort through, and they have to make a decision that can impact their life, their livelihood. So mental fitness becomes an increasing issue. Positive intelligence is a system created by a guy named Shirzad Shamin is a Stanford professor that studied human psychology for a long time. And he basically packaged up a methodology that recognizes that all of us have 10 saboteurs in our brain. He used something called factor analysis to look at all the different emotions we have and boil it down to 10 of them. The first one is the judge, and then there's other things like I'm a hyperachiever, I'm hyper vigilant, I'm controlling, I always want to control the outcomes. But the brain plays tricks on us, and we overuse those capabilities our brain has that we get as children, and we misuse them over time. And over time, our mindset degrades, where we spend more time being fearful than joyful. And when you're afraid, you start snapping at people, you start making the wrong decisions, you start spending too much time on trivial tasks and not enough time on positive tasks. So that's how I got involved with the positive intelligence system. I don't want to drone on, but it's worth mentioning that it's actually delivered via a phone app. And most customers start with just a simple 6-week program where they learn the basics of how their brain works and what their saboteurs are and what the positive responses are. The phone app, you use it 12 minutes a day, and it basically over 6 weeks reprograms your brain so that you're recognizing those impulses. And then after the 6 weeks, the program is still available for the full year. And over time, you just cultivate your executive skill set to make better decisions and to be more happy at work and in life.
Well, I like that. So I've taken the test to figure out what my saboteurs are and help define what areas of opportunity I have to be happier in my career and in my personal life, and help work on my mental health, live in gratitude, create more balance and joy in my life. So I like that you kind of set a benchmark, because all of us have different saboteurs. I think we chatted a little bit about that recently on my saboteurs are going to look a little bit different than yours or maybe some of our listeners. And so the app gives you recommendations on what to listen to in the morning, and then pause breaks throughout the day, and then in the evening to wrap up your day, so you can continue to make improvements and squash that negativity and become more positive in all of your life. Am I addressing that correctly, or talking about that?
No, that's perfect. I mentioned that we're born with this brain of ours. It's such a gift. But as we start listening, we all have a judge. How we judge ourselves, how we judge someone else, how we judge a situation. And that judgment is good until we start overusing it, looking for something bad in every situation, for instance, just so that you'll be protected from being surprised. And what happens then is that you're always on the alert and you're missing all the good that's around you because you're focused on that one negative thing. So that's just a mini example of how the brain plays tricks on you. So simply by building this foundation of getting yourself back to your true self. And again, I'm not a touchy-feely kind of guy. Most people hire me as a coach because they want to increase their profits. They want to improve their customer scores. But what I found was a lot of times we were coming up with a plan, but they weren't acting on it. And there are times that I haven't acted on things like weight loss goals or other personal fitness goals. And it's because your brain's playing that tricky game on you. So when you're watching TV, and you see a great athlete performing, that's probably somebody who's mastered the basics of mental fitness, because that's where all great performance and happiness comes from.
Well, and I think that translates as well, your mental happiness, on how you interact with employees. If you're in
Mhm.
management, how you direct your employees to be more productive. I know earlier in my career, I had a saboteur and I was not a good boss. But I've worked on that over the years and become more patient and kind and more joyful, and played to people's strengths, and understood that there's lots of different ways to attack life or attack projects or business opportunities. And so this helps people, management, as well as anybody. You said kids could take this as well, with becoming a better person and more balanced in life.
That's right. I approach this as a business growth coach and an exit advisor and an executive coach, but family therapist and all kinds of different people use this to serve their clients. And the basic foundation is when you're a business owner, the number one thing everybody wants to talk about is how to find great people. And then it's how to keep them. And then how to keep them aligned and engaged with your business and treating your customers like you would. Well, it's no small task. But at the end of the day, when you peel back the onion, isn't it usually about how people feel, how they feel about you as their employer, how they feel about the company and what it believes in? So this is just a way to get back to the basics, to bring your best self forward, and to build your best company that does its best job for its employees, and hopefully to do so in a way that the whole venture is fun.
Yes, well, and in addition to the app, which is a 6-week program, you also create pods then for participants to collaborate with other people inside and outside of the company to be able to be part of a larger community. Can you talk a little bit more about that, Charlie?
Well, with anything we ever do, whether it's time mastery, whether it's to quit smoking or quit drinking, having accountability partners helps. And most small business owners, especially franchise owners, feel very alone. So the pods are a way that you can work through the program. So, like when we talked, we were talking about a program just for franchise consultants, which for those of you out there, we should all bow to these people who emancipate us from our corporate jobs and help us set up our own business. But using your profession as an example, it's lonely. So instead of working one-on-one with franchise coaches or just one-on-one with franchise owners, I usually like to put them in groups so that they have peer groups, initially to focus just on the skill sets of the mental fitness. But again, that's really only 6 weeks. Generally, most of my programs then are more about profitability or hiring better people or developing people, having corrective conversations with employees and those things. But again, the group format really helps.
Absolutely. Well, I enjoyed focal point coaching myself, and I enjoyed the opportunity to really focus in on all the right things because I, as a business owner, can be scattered all over the board. And if I am working on too many things or have too many great ideas, I can't focus on the things that really drive my business. And going through different weekly modules with Focal Point, I was able to figure out which are actually moving my business and which was just fluff stuff that really didn't matter, but I had fun working on. And then also who my ideal client was. A couple years ago, I was wanting franchising more than my clients were, and some people franchising is just not for them. So I appreciate the methodology of helping business owners go through and attack and look at a business from all different angles to become more profitable and become more strategic. Talk a little bit about your coaching business, Charlie, and how you help busy business owners become more productive and more profitable.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. There's all kinds of different coaches out there. So first off, I'm primarily a business and executive coach, and there's separate certifications for each of those. And I got both of mine through Focal Point, which is a incredible system. It's been around for over 20 years. We touch more than 10,000 customers a year. Focal Point has over 250 top quality coaches who all work together and help each other. So my practice, though, is really three things. It's a business owner. Sometimes it's a franchise owner. Sometimes it could be a bigger, manufacturing or any type of company, really. But they want three things. They want profit growth. They want better teams and systems to execute the business. And then they want the right exit at the right time. So I tend to take my clients through at least two, but usually three of those things through usually a year engagement. And that engagement can be one-on-one, meeting weekly or bi-weekly, or it can be in groups where we work in a mastermind format.
What do you perceive as the power of having a business coach?
Well, the thing is, all of us every day are focused are presented with more information than we know what to do with. And in a business context, it's not only your livelihood, but it's your employees' livelihood. So it gets pretty scary when you're overwhelmed with information. A good business coach should be able to help you first understand what you really want. And sometimes it's profit and it's great business success, but let's not lose sight of why you got into business, what you want for your life to be while you're working, and what you want your life to look like after you're done working. So a coach will help you do that. But a good coach will also help you imagine possibilities that you never considered, and then will help you step by step put together a plan, kind of whittling down all the choices and thinking through the options before you burn a lot of time and money, and pick the most likely opportunity, test it out, succeed fast, or pick another plan, and then execute through. And the other thing that the coach will do then is reduce that sense of being alone and reducing that gnawing stress that a lot of owners have by just simply helping the owner feel more confident that they've thought through their options, they've come up with some, chosen the best plan for them, and then gone on a systematic plan to build their business or to achieve their mission.
Yeah, I like that you say slow down and take the opportunity to look at all of the options. I think many people who are a C-suite executive, we get so wrapped up in how busy we are. We're putting out fires, we're coaching people, we're addressing customer issues, client issues, that we don't have time for coaching. And in the reality, we don't have time not to do coaching because we need to pause and have an outside perspective that isn't super close to everything that we're working on to create more of a targeted approach and become better leaders and better managers. So I applaud you for the work that you do for your clients.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing I'll throw out there that's relevant is when I go through time mastery or effectiveness with owners or their organizations, one of the tools we use is something called the Eisenhower matrix. You can Google it and you'll get a format. But it's basically a way of looking at all the tasks that you work on a scale of urgency and importance. And what you'll find out is that most owners are spending way too much time on tasks that are relatively unimportant, or they might be important, but they're tasks that someone else can do, that you can outsource if you're a solopreneur, or to an employee if you're a bigger company, and spend more time working. And here's the main piece of advice: a lot of us focus what's right in our face every single day. Those are the things that we know are urgent, and they may be important or they may not be. Where great businesses are built is when we budget time in to do what's important. An example is mentoring the person who will be your lieutenant in your business, the one who will allow you to start reducing your work week from 70 hours to 40 to 20, or to actually exit your business and will go along with your business. If you don't take time to develop that person, and subtle things like instilling culture, values, then the seeds never get planted. And when you really need them, when things are out of control, you don't have an employee that's built and ready to go. So consider urgency and versus importance, and always allocate time in your week to a couple tasks that are important in the long run, but not in your face urgent.
I like that. That's a good reminder that, we are always, the fire is the closest thing to us, but it's not necessarily the most important thing to helping us kind of slow down and look at our business. So, in addition to you as a resource, you put together accountability groups or pods. Can you share some examples of what that might look like if somebody was interested in joining an accountability group with you, Charlie?
Oh, I love that. So sometimes I organize people who have like professions. So, for instance, you and I have been associated and have talked about mastermind groups that I lead for leading franchise systems, where we get the franchise consultants together to focus on common problems like lead development, lead conversion, building credibility. But other times, and really, one of the things that I think that are most fun is when I get business owners together from different types of businesses, but work them through a curriculum of business growth where essentially they just all share my hour, my coaching fee. So they get the benefit of it being a lot less expensive, but the real benefit is that once I tee up a discussion and I curate a discussion or a lesson each week, or I pull together the needs of the group and then try to facilitate weekly discussions or monthly discussions that unfold over time, what I like about the group is that the greater part of the advice and the conversation fades away and the group kind of takes over. I had one session a couple months ago where my internet connection went down after I started the meeting, and I didn't get back in for 20 minutes. And when I did join, the group didn't miss a beat. They were having a conversation. They had started playing um, brainstorming techniques that we normally use in previous sessions, where we come up with 20 ideas to a problem someone presents. And they were just working through the list. They were evaluating it like, I don't even think that they knew I was gone. But now I think about it, how should I feel about that? Maybe I'm not as important as I thought I was.
Well, you teed it up the right way, getting it, off the ground, and then, playing a matchmaker of similar business leaders from different industries that are coming together. There's something very powerful about that shared brain power and collaborating and brainstorming to all become better leaders in their business, because we all have different strengths, and leaning into the strengths of others, I think, is so valuable.
I should throw out for the benefit of the group. So if you hear a term called mastermind, that's coach speak for a group coaching session. But the concept emerged from Andrew Carnegie, who was part of building Standard Oil and then US Steel. And a lot of the modern coaching industry came from funding that Carnegie provided for that, as well as most of the libraries in the United States. A guy named Napoleon Hill started writing a book called Think and Grow Rich, and all major coaching systems seem to span from that. So masterminds were something that Carnegie and Rockefeller and uh, 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 um, uh, not Einstein, well, many other, oh, even Steve Jobs, you
Hmm.
know, a lot of business leaders have their mastermind support groups. It's not something just for a novice business owner. Generally, the best business athletes are in a mastermind.
Yes, I'm part of I happen to be wearing pink today, but a pink ladies, women in franchising mastermind. And we are all successful franchise consultants, and each have a little bit different way of running and operating our consulting business, but find so much value in holding each other accountable to the key metrics that the group has agreed upon. And then when we have any challenges or opportunities, we can collaborate when we come together twice a month, or we're also in a group text chat. So if we need something more urgently, we can text each other, and it's a great way to continue to communicate and develop lifelong friendships that are also supportive in our business.
Yeah, and I'll throw out for the benefit of people sitting there thinking, should I get involved with a mastermind situation? Studies show that people who write down their goals achieve like 40% more, but people who join a mastermind group for accountability achieve about 70% more. So that is just a major reason why a lot of the best business people and most talented people out there seek out other people that are talented. It's just simply for the accountability as well as the idea sharing.
So, if there are listeners who are interested in learning more about joining a mastermind or focal point coaching, how do they get a hold of you, and what resources can you provide to them?
I think that you were going to provide my email contacts um, And I think that I'm seeing here that my website's there. So that's a good place to start. And if you contact me or frankly, any focal point coach, we'll have a 15-minute conversation with everybody. We love to talk to people. We're in this business to help people. And a lot of times we may not be the right person for you, but once you describe where you're at, what you want to accomplish, we'll get you the right person. So please reach out. We're happy to help.
And if anybody is an aspiring entrepreneur interested in learning more about becoming a focal point coach or franchising, there's lots of great franchise consultants out there that can help you learn more about those opportunities. But Charlie, I want to ask you, what are you most excited about in the future of business ownership and franchising specifically?
Well, that's interesting because, franchising as an industry is just getting better and better packaged. There's lots of companies out there that can help you, a business owner. When you get your business to a point where it's successful on its own, but you've packaged your special sauce, your unique way of doing things, contacting a franchise consultant like Laura can get you to the right people who can help you take your business to that next level. So I actually have three of my clients right now who are in the early stages. We've grown their business and now they're realizing that they don't have to do all the work personally and get the capital to go off and expand and add units. They're actually pursuing franchising systems. And what I think is exciting about that is that it's gotten relatively easy due to the sophistication of a lot of the companies out there that Laura can connect you with.
Yeah, and if you have a business that you've grown and you want to replicate, I know a number of them that have thought about replicating through the corporate structure. So you have a business in one city, and then you invest and have your business in other cities across the country. That's one model, but franchising is a great way to replicate your business model, as you mentioned, Charlie, to have other business leaders invest in your business and take your business model and have it grow in major metropolitan markets as well as smaller markets all across the country. So lots of opportunity for growth. I'm very excited about the future of business and franchising. And I think a lot more people are getting tired of working in the corporate world and looking at franchising as a way to get into business for themselves, but not by themselves, not being alone in business to really grow their investment in themselves.
What a great articulation. Yeah, the world is less friendly, and I think it's more unfriendly than it's ever been in the corporate world. Companies don't offer the level of investment in their employees that they used to because there's so much pressure for short-term payoff. And there's, that now the rollout of artificial intelligence is having a major impact on traditional careers like accounting and sales and everything else. So franchise systems are a great way to free yourself up from that and to bet on yourself. And for me and my wife recently bought, when we came out here from California, we both started businesses at the same time. I'm doing the coaching, but she's built a home care business that she's up to about 250 employees in 4 years and four territories. So a lot of good things can happen if you choose the right franchise.
Well, and it's cool that you both are business owners and you both kind of stay in your own lane and have grown big businesses. Understand that you're also looking at other home opportunities. You live in Florida, but looking to also have a home in the woods in Connecticut, perhaps. So, yeah, it's fun to grow and support each other in that way. Is there
Yeah.
any?
You know what's not cool? The fact that she calls me Mrs. now because she has more employees and her business is bigger than mine.
And you're like, I've been there. I've managed all those employees.
I tell you what, I never had success like her success. So I'm very proud of her. Her franchise is right at home.
Well, congratulations to her too. I'm going to have her on the podcast as well.
Oh, I hope you do. But don't let her make fun of me.
I won't. I won't. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience today, Charlie?
No, I just really appreciate the opportunity to talk to all of you. And if you're looking for little how-to all elements of running business. I have a YouTube channel, so you can check out. There's videos there. I recently posted one on just how to have conversations with employees about how to keep them aligned and enthusiastic on their jobs. So there's a lot of useful how-to tips in that video. So I hope you like it.
Yes, well, we have included your YouTube channel link underneath, so our audience can take a look and listen, and also get a hold of you if they have more questions or want to learn more about your services as a focal point executive coach. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Charlie.
My pleasure, Laura. It was a blast. Thanks.